Hello everybody and welcome back to the craft room with Tanya. Thank you so much to everybody who has been continuing to watch the videos and who has been sending me little messages. I do apologize for being away from you for such a length of time, but it's just one of those things. It was one thing after another. We were babysitting for a few weeks for our granddaughters, and it's just been hectic. So very glad to get back to doing a little bit of arts and crafts, although I was doing some with the grandkids too. I thought I'd do something very simple for you today. And before I disappeared for a few weeks, we were talking about stash busting, and with having the grandkids here, I have loads of little bits and pieces looked out that I don't use. I don't even know where I've got some of this stuff from. Do you know that? I think I must have inherited it. But I've quite a few sheets of this, and it's not really my cup of tea, I have to say, nor is this. I'm not terribly heartsy, flowersy sort of girl, but I thought, right, what could I do with these? And I know I saw a video ages and ages ago. I think it was ages and ages ago. But I saw one more recently about changing up what you have, using a stash that you have. Maybe we've all done it. We've bought a set of papers. These are not DSPs, these are singles. We've purchased paper, and there's always going to be one or two that you just maybe aren't just fussed on. So if you get a sheet like that, I'm trying to make up my mind which one I'm going to use, but if you get a sheet like that, do not, I think I'll go for this one, no, I'm going to go with pink. Do not despair. There are things you can do to dress it up, shall we say. And I am going to try and stick to some of the colours that are in this. Let me see. I think, no, it's a wee bit too bright. Let me see. Broken China is too light. Peacock feathers, that might work. Salvage patina, actually. Yeah, that will work. I'll go with salvage patina, although it might be a little bit light. I have walnut stain, because these are dark brown, although they may not look it. A little bit of grey, hickory smoke, which is a browny grey anyway. So I thought I'll work with those and black. Now, I've looked out some pretty little geometric patterns. This is a really sweet one, and I thought that would be nice. I don't know why I looked that one. I like this because of the stamps on it, so I'm going to use some of that. I don't know if I'm going to use that yet. And I like these little circles because we already have a circular pattern here. So I thought if I stuck this down randomly and just get stuck in, let's see what we can do. And I'm using a dauber, should we say. Is that even? I'm not even, have I that the right way up? I think I do. Let's see. Oh, I think that is coming off. It absorbs quite a bit of ink, this. Let me see, how's that looking? Do you see? Ooh, lovely. Eh? Lovely. I'm enjoying that. So we've already mixed this up quite a bit. Let's put a little bit more in here. I don't want to cover it completely, but I do want to just do a random sort of pattern because, as you know, 9 times out of 10 we'll be chopping this up to use it for something else, whether it's a card or journaling or what it is. Now let's see, I'm liking that a lot. I'll not wash these yet. Now I'm going to change this for another little one. These are real cheap, and that's probably why it takes so much ink, but they're very, very cheap. Let's see, I want to do some of this. Let's see. Yep, that's coming up very nicely. Good job. And I'm just pressing this. Let's see what we think. Now, what I'm doing actually is I'm going deeper into the center here, and then just dabbing around the outside, because I don't want it looking too square. Oh, that's nice. I don't want it looking too square on the paper. And if there's a bit of pattern that I really wish to obliterate, I'm going a little bit heavier. So there we go. Look at that. That's really changed it, hasn't it? Doesn't look anywhere near as pretty, shall we say. You know, it's just whatever works for you. You can obviously pretty things up too. You know, it really is entirely up to you. Now, what's next? I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to leave those to the side for the moment. I will put the brown on because I want to go around the edges. I have some different stamps here. I have little scribbles, which I love. I have this, like, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but I always think it looks a bit like a coffee stain. You know, like a coffee mug or mug of tea, and it just looks to me a little bit like a stain. Now, I like this bit, but I'm not, what have I got there? I'm not so fussed on this bit here. I wonder if I cut that. Could I cut that raggedy enough? Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to ruin a good, perfectly good stamp. But at the same time, what you can do, if you don't want to use this, is mask it. It's very simple. Just put a bit of masking tape over the top of the bit that you do not want to use. Stick it down. That's low tack. I should have probably have used something a bit firmer, but let's see if that works. And then I'm just going to, there we go, use some black. See if this is any, we'll do this out to the edge. Oh, that worked, didn't it? I like that. Now, I wonder if I added a bit of hickory smoke to that, what it would look like. Oh, look what I've done. Duh. That's not the end of the world. Let's, do you know what? Let's revisit this. That's my fault. I'm not paying attention what I was covering there. So let's clean this up a little bit. And I'm just going to cut this. Where's my scissors? I'm going to cut this right, and I don't want to do it too neatly. There we go. Let's see if that makes a difference, because I don't use that bit anyway, and I don't like it. So back in the black, and I know you shouldn't do this, but I don't care. And then I'm going to try and cover that bit like that. Isn't that cool? Oh, I like that a lot. Now, another way to do this, if you don't want to mess up your good hickory smoke like I have, is dip it in the black and then into the hickory smoke, and we'll do some down here. Do you see? And you should be able to do that again, like that. And then we'll just do another one over here. And you can even kiss a couple of rings, because they would. You know, there's no need to do them all. Maybe do one. Because like I said before, what I'm going to end up doing is probably using little bits of this paper. Not all of it. There. I like that a lot. There's another wee one. I'm just going to do one up there. I think I'll leave it at that. Let's clean this up. I'm much happier with that now. So I'll pop that back. I'll not throw that other little bit out, because you never know when that could come in handy. Where did I put the ink? Not the ink, the stamp thing. I'll just set them over there. I'll find it in a mo. Now, I have some text stamp here. So, wait a see. I'm thinking if I wonder if I daub that in there. Oops, it's come off. With that, could I use bits of that? Let's see. No, it's not really deep enough, is it? Right, I don't want this too dark, so I can always deepen it. Yeah, that's perfect. Do you see that? It's coming off and it's leaving a lovely, lovely mark. but not a lot. I don't know if you can see that. Look, do you see here? It's just a little bit of text, but it's not. It's nice and faint. So you still have bits of your paper coming through underneath, but it's making it, for me, a lot more interesting. We need a little bit up there and a good bit here. Brilliant. And I think I'll dub that in the black a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Here, yep. There. I'm going to do that in the corner a little bit there. That's much better. And a little bit there. There we go. And look at that. Do you see? Do you see how that has changed? Now you can still see the bits that I really like, which are the sort of, I don't know what you call these, they're dandelion clocks, aren't they? Yeah, they are. So I can still see those. I still get the ghost of the little birds. I have covered the deer as much as I could, because that was the bit I liked the least. I thought it was a little bit too twee. I've got a bit here that you can see. So what I'm going to do, there you go, I've just covered him up. There's a little bit there as well. Excuse me, forgive me. And please don't think I have an aversion to deer. I absolutely adore them. We actually had, oh, I have a funny story to tell you about a deer. My son was at university, and I shouldn't say this, but if she recognises herself, well, then she should have been a bit nicer. But I don't like to be unkind. I really, really don't. But this young lady came to visit with my son, and let's just say she was less than appreciative. I don't know. When I went to visit anybody at all, or even yet, I wouldn't, first of all, I wouldn't dream of going without taking a gift, and I would be appreciative of whoever having me to stay in their home. But this was not the case, and let's just leave it at that. And to cut a very, very long story short, my mum and I, who had been entertaining her to the very, very best of our ability, and she'd come over from a large city, inner city in England, and we live in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, so I'm sure it was a bit of a culture shock for her. But I should let you see that when I'm chittering, because that is the purpose of the video, not to listen to me. I didn't put any of these on it. I wonder, should we put some of those on it, or is that over? I think that would be overkill. So I'll quickly. It wasn't, there wasn't the nicest of atmospheres, and she'd been downright rude, if I'm being honest. She'd been really unpleasant and very curt with us, and we couldn't figure out why. But she started to talk to us about how they kept horses in a field, and they had a goat in their garden, and it came inside and stood in the porch and her hall and all of this. And my mother and I were sort of, furrowing our brows and looking at each other and thinking, well, it takes all sorts. Good for you. At least she's an animal lover. God loves an animal lover, and so do we, and all this, and you're going, yeah. But it was almost as if she was trying to outdo the fact that, she I don't know, we felt that maybe she was a bit insecure. So we were sitting there, and we had made her a full Irish breakfast. And she sat down to this, not a peep of thank you very much, not a peep of, oh, that's lovely, nothing. It was all taken for granted. And as the breakfast was finished, we were all thinking, well, I'm sure she was too, but I know my mother and I were thinking, oh, thank goodness the day's nearly, the weekend was coming to a close, and she was going to go home, and oh, I can't wait to get her into the car and get her up the road. And we were just sitting around the table with just, that moment when you finished and you lean back to finish your cup of tea or whatever, coffee, whatever it is. And I happened to look up, and just outside of the dining room window was the most enormous, gorgeous stag you have ever seen. He was majestic, and he was quite unaged because, you know, by the amount of points there were on his antlers, and he was at least an 8-pointer, absolutely at least. He was gorgeous, and it was like something out of Monarch of the Glen, you know, the painting. He just was stood there in all of his glory, directly outside our dining room window. And I went, oh, look, there's a stag. And I didn't raise the hair. I just let on. It was an everyday occurrence. And everybody looked out the window, including her. And their face fell, God bless her. And she went, oh. And I went, yes. Well, is that us? And we all gracefully left the table and packed up, and the stag went on his way. And I have never seen him since. I never saw him before that day. I never saw him since, but I reckon that was a reward for Mum and my patience through the duration of that weekend. It was so funny. But what a magnificent sight. So I absolutely do not have anything against deer. Love them, but not little cutesy one on my paper. So there you go. Rather a long video to show you something very easy. And I'm going to continue to do more. And enjoy it, and I'll cut this up and I'll use these as backgrounds, and they will be used rather than, you know, just languishing in a stash somewhere because I don't like them. But I like it now. That's a lot better looking. It's a lot more interesting, and it's more my cup of tea. And I'm sure you have stamps and obviously colours that you can use, and your stencils and everything else that you can use. If you don't have stencils, you can die cut plastic sheets, like for instance, is it Mylar? Mylar, isn't that it? Or even the sheets that you get with your stamps. You know these? Of course, that one. These, there. You could even cut that. You cut that with some of your die cuts and put it down. And if you repeat the pattern, use that as a stencil. Simple. So there you go. If you don't have any of those and you don't have any Mylar, if you do have sheets of, I can't remember what you call it, you know, the plastic that you put through the heat sealing thing, laminating pouches, there you go. If you have a laminating pouch, put it through your laminator and then die cut it. It'll work beautifully for you. So there you go. Hey ho, I hope you enjoyed it. And that's my first foray back into the videos. So another stash buster for you. I'm going to do something completely different in the next video, which I'm hoping to do in a second, and then post over the next day or two. So that's me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please remember to give me the good old thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would be delighted if you did so. Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to watch. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. Bye-bye now.